Oh, okay. I'm a little bit early. Seeing if this works. It looks like it's working pretty well. And I'm a lot early, 6 minutes early. So I'll just wait. Oh, a couple people signed on. Let me see if I can open the comments for myself. For anybody who jumped on, can you hear and see me? So we are just talking to the computer and not knowing whether people can hear you. Okay, it says 6 people. Wonder if it tells me. Oh, thumbs up. Awesome. I'm going to click on this. Oh, what did that do? Oh, that just shows me myself. Ooh, I don't know how to get back in it. Darn it. Ooh, I definitely don't want to look at myself on Facebook. Nah. Oh no, there's a delay. Oh no, I messed something up. Alright, sorry. New default scene. How do I'm gonna close Facebook. Okay. Oh, now I'm seeing subtitles. This is annoying. Okay, so what I did is I clicked something. Oh, never mind. I can, sorry. Bear with me. I clicked something and it sort of made myself, hi Sue, it made the screen that's live with me, put it in the corner, and then I'm seeing myself. Oh, I think I got it back. That's better. Whew. Sorry. Technology. Yes, oh wow, there are like 17, 20 people coming in. So, thanks, Ash. Ash says I can hear and see. Might be a little quiet on your end. My volume's up all the way and it's not very loud. Okay, that's good to know. Is that better? The other thing, Ash, can you hear me a little bit better? Or anybody? Oh, I was wondering if all of you can see each other's comments. The other day, some of you couldn't, and it might be because of the people's privacy settings, like the individuals who were commenting. It might be based on, oh, Jill says she can hear me great. Thank you, Jill. So some of the comments might have been hidden from you because the people have privacy settings where if they participate in a group or a page, they don't necessarily want other people to see that, and that's fine. Thanks, Tammy. All right. Well, I might as well get started. I'm a little bit early, but I'd like to jump off at like 12:30. So I just wanted to get a feel today for how your decisions are going, whether you're just struggling with a decision or maybe you're certain you're going to homeschool for sure if the school does a certain thing. I'm curious about whether your school districts have made decisions. I know I got an email today from our school district, and I still am on their email list, that they're formulating plans for the fall sports, but I don't think that they've finalized plans yet for classroom instruction. So, which I know it's difficult and things are changing everywhere pretty quickly. So, yeah, I'm just curious how your decision is going, or even if you have made a decision, how you're finding navigating the paperwork and that sort of thing, and just kind of what kind of questions you might have. And as I said on a post, I think yesterday I posted that if and because I've been asking or answering questions about homeschool law for 10 years, about. And if it seems like the questions that you have are very typical of new homeschoolers in general, or new to Pennsylvania homeschoolers, a lot of times people, Pennsylvania is considered sort of a high regulation state compared to some other states, so people get intimidated if they've lived or homeschooled in a state that has fewer regulations. But if your questions are similar to really typical questions, I can just direct you either to the Pennsylvania Homeschool Support Group. They're really willing to invite you into the group or accept you into the group and help you out. Like I said the other day, Pennsylvania Home Educators Association, it's run by Mary Alice Newborn. She's a great resource. She has a website and a Facebook page, and she's not super active, but she's semi-active in terms of answering questions and helping out. And I'm willing to help you, but pretty much in this format where, the other resource is my website. You can do a search on just about any topic, especially beginner topics, like, how to file, that sort of thing, what needs to be included in an affidavit. It's all there on my form, and objectives. So those questions are answered on my site, as well as like the medical requirements for different grades, the special needs requirement when you file. If you have a child who has been identified as having special needs, there's one extra step, and there's an article about that. So that's a good resource. Anyway, hi Jessica, hi Tammy, Kimberly, hello everybody. So first, if anybody wants to ask a general question, feel free, and I'll try to get to as many as I can in the comments. The other resource, and I don't know if you got a chance to go over to my YouTube channel. I had published a couple of videos a couple of years ago about how to fill out an affidavit and what the required elements are of an affidavit. And those are still applicable. They might be outdated based on the compulsory education age just by mentioning it, but it really doesn't change the content of the videos so much, so it's still relevant. And in fact, one of the videos is like how to prepare an affidavit in 10 minutes or less. And I kind of just do a screen recording, and I went through and showed you as if like one of my kids was homeschooling. So that's a decent resource. Also there are questions about how you submit an affidavit a lot. Like, do you walk it up to the school? Do you mail it? The general best practices is to send it addressed to the superintendent and a certified mail with return receipt. And that's what I advise, and that's what I used to do. So, and then it goes to whatever office. If it goes to the main office of the district, they can send it where it needs to go. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm missing a bunch of comments. I thought that they would scroll automatically, and I'm learning every day. So I'll try to just... Oh, I'm on somebody's TV. I'm a star. That is cool. It's crazy. Technology is nutty. I hope I'm not too loud. So Jill, I will be teaching K-5 to my daughter and sent paperwork certified this morning. Jill, okay, good for you. Just so you know, the paperwork isn't due until your child's 6th birthday. So some of you might have a kindergartner who's 5 years old, which it looks like Jill does, and unless they turn 6 within a couple of weeks of school starting, I wouldn't bother even to file. Yeah, that is a, and if they turn 6 late in the school year, like after the new year, or you're not required to file until their 6th birthday, just so you know. So, sorry. Okay. And do you guys need me to read the questions? Laura asks, I've always wanted to homeschool, but I decided on private Christian school the past few years. But this year, I think I'm going to take the plunge into homeschool with all that's going on. I'm just trying to figure it all out. Oh, it's not even a question. This is a good time for a trial because, first of all, there are so many people doing it. And it's really understandable why this is the perfect time to try it if you've always wanted to do it, because things are going to be so uncertain in the fall. It's just the perfect time, especially if you can be home, even part-time. And that's the other thing about homeschooling is it's really flexible if you can get to your lessons anytime during the day. So some families, they sort of split up the childcare duties and the assignments between the dad and the mom, or a grandparent can help out. So it's super flexible, and now is the perfect time. I mentioned the other day that one of the typical things when people decide to homeschool is that everybody has an opinion about it. So everybody in my close family, my neighbors wanted to know about it, and they were all really supportive, with the exception of seriously 1 or 2 people, at least to my face. But everybody, you kind of find yourself defending it or explaining it, and that's not going to be the case this fall. Nobody's going to blame you for not being comfortable sending your kids to school. But on the other hand, I understand that kids are anxious for structure again. So, perfect time. Oh, Sue asks, where can I get a copy of an affidavit form? I actually posted a link to one on the Facebook page today. I couldn't figure out how to post a PDF, so the link, if you click the link, it just takes you to my website and you can download it straight from there. You don't need an email. I'm not collecting emails or anything. And it's the same one that the Pennsylvania Homeschool support group uses. I told them last year they can just use the forms that I created on their site because I didn't want to collect emails anymore. I kind of was backing off. But I did tweak it to include, in the event that you can't get your medical, say, whatever is due for the appropriate year, if you can't get those requirements in, I tweaked the language to say that they will be taken care of, or they will be provided the medical. I forget how it's worded, so that's the only difference. All right. Okay, I'll get to Christine. Once the affidavit is given to the district, when can we start homeschooling? As soon as you file it. Day 1, you can start homeschooling. I think that was her question, and then it disappeared. What is the deadline to file with the school district for the fall start? That's a really good question. So under Pennsylvania Homeschool Law, you file the affidavit if it's your first year, which I'm assuming it's the first year that you're homeschooling. It's due upon when you start. I forget how it's worded in the statute. So that's the Pennsylvania Homeschool Law. Pennsylvania Truancy Law. So if your school district starts on August 26th, I would file it within 3 days of that. So because it's like, if your child has more than 3 unexcused absences, that then they can, I don't know, cite you or something like that. I don't know what the procedure is, and that's the compulsory attendance law. So I would do it within 3 days. Don't wait more than 3 days, especially if your child is already registered. And if your child is an existing student at a school, you are going to have to fill out the school district's paperwork, and it's just a very simple withdrawal form. That's not a requirement under the Pennsylvania law, but it's I view it as a courtesy, and it helps with their paperwork. And then if it's not your first year homeschooling, it's due by August 1st, but that probably is not going to apply to any of you unless you homeschool this year and then continue. Next year it would be due August 1st, by August 1st. Here's the thing, if that is not waived, if the affidavit, as of now, it's you still have to file an affidavit, but at the end of the spring term, a lot of the requirements for homeschoolers were waived. The testing requirement for 3rd, 5th, and 8th grade was waived. It just wasn't required. The evaluation was waived because it wasn't safe to do evaluations in person. And I think there's the 180-day requirement was waived. So that kind of thing always could change. As of now, existing homeschoolers, people who this wouldn't be their first year, affidavits are due August 1st. In my county, you can get notarizations in person. There is an online notary option. They're pretty expensive. I looked into it because I became a notary, and it was expensive for me to enroll, like to pick one of the services that the state authorizes, because it requires certain technology, and it was pretty cumbersome. I didn't decide that I was going to use it enough to justify paying. I think it was like $40 a month. But in counties where notaries aren't open for in-person, even masked or social distanced notaries, I don't know what's going to happen there. So as of now, I would file an affidavit at least within 3 days of the start of school in your district, or you can do it now, any time after July 1st. So, okay, so Crystal, I'm reading her question. Okay, so Crystal asks, I plan to homeschool this fall for the first time. I have a kindergartner and first grader and wanted to know if they will be able to be placed back in private school the following year and the year they should be in. So next year, yeah, that's going to be up to the private school. I would be surprised if not now. I don't know. I can't imagine they're going to do a placement test for a second grader. What I did, this is a weird story, but when my kids, all of my children were homeschooled from kindergarten through 6th or 7th or 8th grade, depending on the kid. I have 4 children, and I was talking about this the other day. So my older son, he was interested in cyber school because he never really had confidence that he was up to speed with his skills, even though I felt confident in his reading and spelling and writing skills, his math skills, and oh, this poor kid. So I enrolled him for PA Cyber, or no, Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School, because they had a hybrid, some online, some self-paced, and that was a good fit for him. So he took a placement test, which is appropriate because they want to place him in the right math and reading, English, and he just panicked. I looked at the material after. I mean, he just like froze up, poor thing. And the woman was so sweet. She came in and she's like, he just couldn't do it. He just panicked. And I since learned it's a time thing. He just gets panicked when something's time oriented, because he did the same thing on the SATs. But he's in college now, and he earned a scholarship based on his SATs, so he did okay. But I said, okay, can I just see the curriculum and the syllabus for what would have been appropriate for his age? And we looked over it, and I told her where I felt comfortable him entering, and I said, look, if it's a disaster, he can always change. And she was great with that. So, and he did fine. So I think your first and second grader for sure will be able to jump in at the appropriate grade. It's always up to the school, whether it's public or private school, but I don't think they'll give you a problem. So once the affidavit is given to the district, when can we start logging our school days? What is considered a school day? Christine asked that question. Yeah, you can start counting school days as soon as you file your affidavit. You don't even have to wait, like when you put it in the mail, start counting school days. Because here's the thing, nobody is looking at your calendar anyway. We touched on this the other day. Please read the article on my website, the difference between the time requirement and a log. Because a log is required for the portfolio, but it is simply a list of titles used. That's the log. Titles of books that were used, books that were read, materials that were used, and you just keep kind of a running list of titles. You don't have to say what date, you don't have to list page numbers, it's just a list. So a lot of people call counting their days their log of days. So try not to confuse that. There is a day requirement, 180 days, or unless you want to count hours for elementary, you could count, it's 900 hours. For secondary, it's 990, but you don't do both. You don't do days and hours. You just pick one or the other. And what counts as a school day is really up to you. What content you consider for your school day is really up to you. It's not defined what counts as a school day. Now, if you depending on your personality type, you might want to define it really clearly in your mind just for your own sake. And there are some good articles about that. So you can check that out. All right, what's your advice for a beginner for the portfolio? Oh, okay. The portfolio, I have an article about this on my website too. I keep it to, if you read the language of the requirement, I should pull it up because it's been so long that I've dealt with these issues, but it is samples of work from, I don't think you'll be able to see my screen, but I'm going to go to my website. If you go to Pennsylvania PA Homeschool at the very top, there is, on the menu bar, it's under resources. If you scroll down, there's the text of the law, and I want to read you, because I don't think it's in the regulations, I want to read the language of the portfolio. And I might have a video about this too on the YouTube channel. Affidavit requirements. Oh, I think I have it. Time requirement. Sorry, I think it's under evaluation. I used to basically know this language inside and out. Anyway, it refers to samples of work. And like I said, read the article on the website. But samples doesn't mean every single thing your child did for the year. So what I would do is I would usually, for sure, pick a math page from the beginning of the year and one from the end of the year, or the middle and the end of the year, just to show different subject content. I would do the same thing for writing. Like I would pick something that they did. It could be a worksheet. It could be, something like copy work that they did if you have like a younger elementary. It could be just a couple of paragraphs that they wrote, and then one from the end of the year. Science, same thing. Just pick a sample of work, and especially if you think what you're pulling is a good example, demonstration to show that sustained progress was made in the overall program. That's the definition, that's the language of what the evaluator is looking for. That's the definition of an appropriate education under the law. That instruction was for the time required, and that there was sustained project or progress in the overall program. So don't be intimidated by the portfolio, because it doesn't have to include that much. I typically included 10 to 12 samples for each of my kids. Super thin portfolio. And Mary Alice Newborn has a really good, well, actually, think about this though. When I first started, we used to submit them to the school district, but that's not the case anymore. So I was going to say that Mary Alice, some people would say, oh, take a picture of the field trip that you did. And she said, yeah, but don't include pictures of your kids. Just if you go to, say, Trax Farm or something, just take a picture of the farm. You don't want, who knows what, administrators are doing with pictures of your kids. Not to be weird, but you don't even know them. But portfolios don't go to superintendents anymore. Your evaluator who is going to meet your child either online or by telephone or in person can look through, and you can include a picture of a field trip as part of your portfolio. So, and again, this is a question that if you want to read about, you can find it on my website. Oh, good. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, I'm curious for you all, how many people are on here now? About 13. Whether you know other people in your district who are considering homeschooling. What's so hard is that it would be, because so many more people I think are going to be doing it. It would be nice to combine, but I don't know if in person is going to make sense. It's such a bummer. So, I also talked to a woman who homeschools under the private tutor option, and she also tutors public school kids or conventionally schooled kids after school. So when the pandemic and schools closed, she continued to do it online, which was great. Tiffany says a lot of people are taking the jump, and yeah, I can see why. So she and I were talking. She was wanting to offer tutoring again in a group setting for not even, maybe a couple of hours a week for, I think, English, a certain subject, and then offering private tutoring. So she was offering that as an option if parents wanted to homeschool and were intimidated by certain subjects. And you might find a lot of teachers in that situation. So teachers, I have a few teachers in my family. My sister-in-law teaches 4th grade, I think. She's taught different grades. I think she teaches 4th grade this year, but her online time commitment was really pretty limited. I don't even think she was online for more than 2 hours every day, and I don't think it was every day. That might be different in the fall because they'll be more prepared for that situation. But if she's only teaching 2 hours a day, she's going to have a lot of time otherwise. So you might be able to get some help that way from even public school teachers, private school teachers, parents with teaching credentials, or just other parents who have proficiencies and things that you don't. So it's pretty exciting because you guys all are in a similar boat. So yeah. Crystal says there are lots of people considering homeschooling in my area. How are they feeling about it? Are they intimidated, frustrated, overwhelmed? I'm just curious about that. And probably most of you got a feel in the spring, a good idea of what it would look like in the fall. And then I still can't imagine the hybrid model. I don't know how that's going to work. So I think that's a benefit to you, that you can say, gosh, that wasn't working that great for us, or that worked really well, or this part of it did. So that's a really good comparison to what you might want to do. And I just want to encourage you that homeschooling under the Pennsylvania Homeschool Law doesn't have to look like the public school model, or the conventional school model, I should say. Like super structured, can be super structured, it's up to you. Yeah, so just wanted to let you know. So Ash says, every parent I'm personally friends with in my district are considering pulling their children or have already pulled their children out. I have cousins in the same county but different districts, and they've pulled their kids already. So that's about, 6 people in my county I know of, all with hopes of an eventual return back to school. Yeah, I can see that, especially from the kids I know. But for now, this is just what feels right. Yeah, that's a really good attitude. I'm curious, what are the districts? If I were an administrator, I'd kind of be relieved. I would feel like, hey, welcome back. I kind of get it, and we're doing our best, but then it's like fewer kids that you're responsible for. Crystal says, I have several friends that already homeschool that I've been in touch with, so that's given me confidence. Good. That's a great resource. That's wonderful. And they probably have materials that you can use too. The ones that are considering it are the ones who said that the spring virtual thing was a nightmare, especially with multiple kids, and probably especially with younger children. My son, he graduated in the spring, but I didn't have to help him at all. So that would be a nightmare. So, just to mention some resources, you might find some just materials on Facebook Marketplace. And if you want to keep your child up with what the school is doing for their grade, homeschoolers are entitled to the textbooks from the public school, but you have to put a request in writing, and schools might be prepared for that with certain forms, and if they're not, just request the materials. Now, let's say you get the math book that your kid would have used. You can try to keep up. That'd be awesome. You'll probably know from other parents where they are. But you don't have to teach the same way that the teacher would do it. You can even move at a faster pace. I think it's so much more efficient to homeschool. You'll probably get through it faster. Now, the other thing too is you might want just the syllabus or just the textbook and say, where do you think you're going to be at whatever point, or see what pace they're on, and use a completely different resource to teach the same concepts. I think textbook learning is not the best way. So that's all I'll say about that. So textbooks, yeah. So anyway, well, it's getting up on 12:30, and let me know if this is a decent format for you, if it's a waste of your time. That's the last thing I want to do. And you guys have the questions that seem to come up normally. I don't know. It doesn't sound like many of you are struggling with whether to homeschool, but yeah, it sounds like y'all are in decent shape. You can find the affidavit form. There's a link to it on, I don't know, a post right before this one. And I'll probably post this to YouTube, and I'll try to keep doing it. I had trouble the other day, but I finally, it accepted it. So I'll do that. If you know anybody who's interested, you can share the YouTube link with them if they're not on Facebook. So yeah, Crystal, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ari. That's a pretty name. They're both pretty names. Nash, interesting. So, okay, well, thanks for checking us out today, and good luck. And, you know, if you want to talk about anything specific, yeah, we can do that too. Just drop a comment in this post or a different post, and I can do different topics if you want me to. So, well, good luck. Have a good weekend, and thanks for signing on. Laura, you're welcome. Yeah, check out the website, and just there's a toolbar, a search bar at the top of the menu, or at the top of the page on the menu bar, and really you should be able to search any term for any question. Yeah, so all right, check it out. Thank you.